Today is all about getting untapped, really tapping into your community and connecting through B2B. So, this is something that I have really enjoyed growing in my business over the years. So, as you may know, I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Jennie Wallach, and I have this awesome team. And, being that I love being a referral and relationship based business, this was just a no-brainer for me over the years in a way that I could uh, give back to my community by promoting local businesses, growing with other leaders and professionals in my community. And this is just a great way for you, no matter where you are in the business, if you are brand new in real estate or now is just a way or a time that you want to add in some new layers or levels of connection with your people. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't really like cold calling or salesy phone calls, well, this is really a great opportunity for you. So we're going to work through this session today so that you are best able to borrow some of these ideas, add them into your own business, and then maybe plus them and make them better because I'm all about that as well. So what we have here is me actually in a picture I was presenting to a group of women. It was a small group of women. If we really borrow from our friend Meg Dady's idea of the micro events, that's really how this started for me and still is actually. These smaller group gatherings where once a quarter we get together with local business owners and professionals where we have a lunch and learn session. So this was one of those. And this is my own quote. I like making my classes because I can quote myself. So I just really get so fired up when I meet new business owners. I get to learn about their struggles and their successes and what's working and not working in their business, and then ways that I can take what I've learned from them and share it with the world to help them have an amazing business and life. So when I get to do that, I really thought through like, well, there's those BNI organizations, you can pay money, you could join a chamber of commerce. So I just thought, well, what if I just kind of create my own thing? What if I want to then share and promote people that maybe I know personally through networking or high school or relationships or past clients. And so that's where this came up for me. And so a business to B2B is just business to business. We are small business owners and there are so many out there as well. And I think we should care about this because why not help? And we are in a business that we have the opportunity to help so many and to really have a ripple effect on our community. And what a great thing for us to do and share with others. So today we're going to work through what I think is just the whole idea behind it is isn't having this kind of program plugged into your business really just a way to grow your database, to give back to your database, to potentially grow your future client opportunities with people. And so Gary does say, you've heard this before, your database is your business is your database. So when we're thinking about a B2B program that we create on our own or we tap into another one, that's what we're doing here. We're being purposeful with adding people to our database. And so we like to think about it. I read this book, The Go-Giver. If you haven't yet, put it on your list. It's not a big one. But the whole idea behind it, and you guys get it, is obviously make giving rather than getting your priority. And success does follow. It just naturally works that way. And the authors say that becoming a go-giver means giving value to others, not always as a strategy or a quid pro quo, but as a way of leading a satisfying life. So when you give, naturally things will come back in return, but not always, not right away. And that's okay because that's really not the point here. The point is to give back to your community. Well, this guy is Jordan Freed. He was my coach for many, many years, and everything I still do in my business is set up on a lot of the teachings I learned from him. And so at one point, he told me he'd had over 12,000 hours of coaching conversations with agents across the country. So he's always in the know with what top agents and teams are experiencing. And he told me that we need to get really clear on our database ROI, return on investment. And what that meant was he was finding that a really, just amazing, knock it out of the park businesses were getting a 15% return on their database. Then so he labeled that amazing. And then he said around 10% is a great number, is a really great number to strive for. And even 5 is still good. And so I'm thinking, and a lot of you've heard me tell this story, I'm like, well, we are so great. I'm sure that we're at least at this 10%. And what that means is if we had 1,000 people in our Met database, so do the math real quick if you want to just write this down. Hopefully you got a workbook, and I know that we've been sharing that with you in advance. But if you do the quick math and you got 1,000 people in your Met database, those are people that know you, trust you, like you, past clients, friends, colleagues, whatever. If you had 1,000 people and if you were at a 10% return each year, you should be able to help 100 families just off of that Met database, because either they will be a client again or share a referral with you, pass your name along. Well, I realized that I was fooling myself. And in actuality, although we help lots of families each year and the majority of them do come from our database or referrals, we were really at less than a 5% return on investment. Well, that teaches us something, right? That tells us, well, we either have people in our Met number that really aren't true, loyal, and referring type people, or maybe we need to improve on our communication with our people. Either way, you get to decide, or you get to get real and just say, okay, well, I can base my numbers each year and the projection of clients I can serve based on this percentage of return on my database investment there, return on investment. So if that's the truth, when thinking about this idea of a business to business program for your own business, what if you think about it? Let's walk through this together. What if you could just add, what if you added 200 new people to your database each year? So these are local business owners, leaders, uh, leaders of the executive directors at nonprofits, because all of these are community givers. So what if you added and you met just for a week of new people that you had a conversation with? And I'll go into more steps of things you can do with them. But if you added them into your database, and if you were at that good 5% ROI, that could equal an additional 10 units, 10 more families you could serve each year. And whatever your average commission is, I'm just picking a number for math's sake. If your commission happened to be around 9,000 a year, per transaction, that is an additional $90,000, almost $100,000 from you just connecting with 200 people in your database or growing your database each year. And so could you, that's just the question for your challenge today, is could this be part of your plan finishing the year? Could you make it an intentional point to meet local business people and add them to your database while adding value? So that is the question for today. Now, I think it's a doable thing. And can you hold yourself accountable or be held to it? Well, I have a friend here, Ken Pozek. I met Ken before he was the famous Ken that he is today. Many of you have seen him on the stage, on YouTube. You know that he is great at what he does. But I knew him when he was a little agent from Detroit. And I met him back at an event years and years ago. He still was living in Detroit. And I remember when he moved to Orlando, he and his family packed up. He has a wife and 3 kiddos, and they made their way to Orlando. Why? Because, well, it's the happiest place on earth, but also it's warmer than Detroit in the winters. And you'll hear Ken tell that story. But I've been friends with him all these years. So every year, like I just send him a text. All right, what are the latest numbers to update my slide? Because he went from 103 families served in Detroit, which is a nice business for sure, a great business. He had helped 103 families in Detroit, and he then 5 years later all the way made his way to helping 300 families in a year. That is a huge amount of growth. And if you go back and learn his story, the truth is, and he was my first ever Agent Success Secrets video, if you want to go back in time and watch that one. But how he did it was he went to his new community where he didn't have a database. He didn't know anybody. He didn't have any past clients or friends. He went to local businesses, interviewed them, ate the food, promoted the business, learned about the organization, the nonprofit. He talked to business owners, created content along the way, but was growing his database and his relationships. So this can have an amazing impact on your business. It depends at what level you'd like to take it to. Now you can see, I just got his updated text yesterday. Now he is at 498. Thank you for adding that. 498 families served and 338 million in gross commission. And I think he said that's year to date. So, yeah, and wow. So, that's an extreme example, but if you go back and think about it, how did he start his business over from scratch? He knew how to do the realtoring, he knew how to help people with buying and selling, but he needed to grow his database and he needed to grow it fast, and that's how he did it, was through this kind of a program. Now, a lot of people may have some myths in their head. I know that I always do. I create stories for myself. But sometimes you may think, well, I am too busy right now to even think about adding in this new layer of business. Or you might even think, and I think this one often is, they probably already have an agent. What they're, it doesn't, I mean, they're not going to use me even if they did need some real estate help. And then we could even fool ourselves in thinking it costs a lot of money. And well, you know that I'm going to have to disprove all of those myths because the truth is that cold calling is dead. I mean, I heard Mo Anderson say that one time, but also besides being dead, it's also illegal in a lot of cases. It's harder to actually get people on the phone if you were to make that attempt. And if you have read Adam Grant's book, Give and Take, he says that givers end up more successful by building better reputations and more useful networks. Now, if I went back to the other myth that was about they probably have a real estate agent anyway, that one I've really gotten over because I realize after almost now 25 years in this real estate business, I realize that most people end up getting out of the business. So even if that business owner friend has a family member or a friend that's in real estate, they may not be in real estate for as long as you're going to be in real estate. They may not want to use that friend or family member. So never let that hold you back from wanting to become a friend to someone or promoting a local business. And the truth is, it's virtually free. All of my videos through all of the years have been shot on my iPhone. They can totally be, utilized. You can use a lot of just free tools that already exist now to make this work. And it's just also a phone, a text, social media as well. All of those are free. Now, sometimes we might get this little mind block of, I don't even know where to start. What do I do? What do I say? What's the process? Well, of course, I have a process for everything. And so I created these 5 little steps at least to get you going. Because as I reflect and review back through my slides here, I go, well, step 1 could be a whole, 5-hour training class. And then the next step could be a whole nother system and program. And so for today, this is going to be high level, of course, in my momentum group and in my other training classes where we go a lot deeper. You get the real checklists and the systems and the tools in order to implement these. But for today, we're going to cover this at a high level, and I think you'll still get some good value from it. So with this, step number 1 is, first off, this is what I did. I just started with my database. I already have a pool of people who have trusted me to help buy or sell, who have shared referrals with me, who want me to win, who are my cheerleaders. So why not just start with them. So that's what I did. And at the back of your workbook that I know that we've sent out to you, I realized we have some links that are here. And these are just old scripts and conversations and checklists for you to work through, just free extra bonus for showing up today and getting this workbook. So that'll be a great place for you to start. So if you go to just who in my current database, who do I already know that owns a business? I mean, you could probably jot down a handful of people just off the top of your head. And then if you scroll through, you could probably see even more. So first I just started with who already owns a business. That was my just easy off the top list. But then I used it as one of my conversations for my quarterly calls. The next I said, all right, so who do you know? Who do you recommend that gives great service or delivers an amazing client experience that I can share with my clients? And your people that are in your database, they already know you, and so they know what you do. So it wouldn't be weird if you call to have a conversation, check in. How's life? How are the kids? How's school going so far? Oh, and by the way, a lot of times we have clients come into town and they are always looking for new service providers and vendors who give great client experience. Who do you know that owns a business that I could share with them, or I could add to my vendor list or my provider list? And so with that, then you get these recommendations from your friends and your family, and they then can give you this warm introduction. Hey, this is Jennie. She likes to share and promote Tulsa service providers, vendors, businesses. I think it'd be great if you guys connected. Now you've got this warm connection. It's not weird. You're not being a cheesy salesperson. It is just a natural way for you to then have a great conversation with these people because you get to do what you love. And the last little tip here is if you've ever taken the old BOLD, was a training class that we had, the BOLD Business Objective Life by Design, there was an exercise in there, and it was called the Yellow Pages exercise. And we teased today because the Yellow Pages was an actual book, and it listed all of the businesses in town, and you could just go through. And so maybe that's just a way you think through all these different categories of businesses, or especially in our real estate business, maybe they are kind of affiliate partners to us that our clients may need their services, landscaping, painting, etc. And you could start there and then grow out from there as well. But the memory jogger exercise is another one. Then that's a tool that's one of your in your resource folder. Just helps you think of people or categories of businesses that might be a good fit for you to interview and to reach out to. So that's step number one. Now, step number two is think about those that you already support. Are you already paying money to people who own small businesses? I mean, this is a beautiful place to start because they already receive money from you. It wouldn't be weird if you say, hey, I love promoting local businesses. And this is my script right here, guys. This is it. People always ask me what to say. This is it. Hey, it's Jennie. I love learning about and promoting local businesses in the area. Would you be up for a 3 to 5 minute video interview where I can ask you some questions and you can share with me what you do, what your business is all about, and ways that people can best connect with you? Most of everybody says, yes, of course, it's free. Why wouldn't they? In today's world where things cost more money, especially marketing, why not have a local real estate professional promoting your business for free? I mean, it just seems like a total no-brainer. And so that's where you can make your next list. Who do I already give money to that could use more business? Who do I already know really well that could use a little extra promotion? Because the truth is that we are so blessed with all of the training and education that we have about how to build a business, how to market ourselves and prospect for new opportunities, but not everyone has that. So you could be a total blessing to another friend and a business owner in town. All right, number three, This is where you can really have some fun and start getting creative. If you were just at Mega Camp, you heard from the stage, it's all about AI these days and YouTube and video content and articles sharing stories about the business, the industry, etc. And so if you go to the Wallet Group on YouTube, we've been adding content to this channel for years and years and years. We have a playlist called Tulsa Looks Good on You. We have a YouTube, a Facebook page and an Instagram page called Tulsa Looks Good on You. It's unbranded to the Wallet Group unless you really got inside of it to see it, but it's just a page and a way to share local businesses, happenings, community events, things going on in town that people enjoy. See, in the early days of me adding in video to my business back in 2015, 16, I started using video and I was watching I could see the watch rates and how people like what was more engaging for people. And guess what? It wasn't market updates or real estate talk. People more enjoy learning about upcoming events, local businesses, restaurants, food, all that stuff. So fold that into your content as well, and you'll see that people will really want to engage. So these are the questions. So like when I am heading out to meet with somebody, I can even just text it to them. I can put it in the calendar invite. And I will say, I'm just going to ask you three things. Of course, if the conversation flows and goes a little bit more, that's totally fine. But we're going to do it in one take. I do set them up for one take wonders. And I just asked this question: who are you? And what do you do? They will have their elevator pitch. They know who they are and what they do. And then what's new or different in your industry? Or what, that question is really about how do you differentiate yourself from others who are in this field? And then the last is the most important, and you want to set them up for success that they know that question is coming, but how can people best find you? In today's world, it's probably going to be their website, their social media. I do ask I do tell them that I'm asking that question because sometimes people will fumble and forget their own phone number. And so you want to set them up for success so that they are prepared to answer these questions. But every business owner should be able to answer those three things, and especially if you give it to them in advance. So over here is just a quick little snapshot of our YouTube channel where we promote local businesses. And it's not much effort in if you scroll through back in time, you can see no editing, just Jennie on the Zoom, especially during the pandemic. I really doubled down on interviewing local businesses through Zoom. You can do them on Zoom, you can do them in person, whatever works for you. It's still just a great way to connect and promote your local businesses and your community. All right, step 4, as we're cruising along here, and I want to leave room to chit chat and to mastermind. I want to hear ways that you are also adding in this business to business idea. But step 4 is all about networking and volunteering. So these are ways when you decide that you want to grow your business, grow your database by connecting with more people. It may mean that you got to get out of that comfort zone. And if you don't have your own business to business program or plan set up yet, that's totally fine. I didn't, but I encourage you to join the chamber or a nonprofit or your own church organization, whatever is a place that you feel a connection to, where you can meet new people and grow your database and give back and engage with them. Maybe you create your own group. That's what mine is called: Boss Business Owner Sharing Strategies. Nowadays, each quarter we have lunch and learns, like I mentioned before. And then while you're at these events, so this is how I grew my business when I moved back to Tulsa. I hadn't lived here in my hometown for many years because I'd gone off to college and started my career in another city. And when I moved back, I did not have a database anymore. I had been gone long enough, 14 years, that most friends were off and gone, or I had definitely lost touch with a lot of my old friends. And so I joined the Junior League of Tulsa. It's an organization where there's like-minded women, professionals, moms that all would come together to volunteer, give back, and also meet people. And so that's where I would just connect with people. It wasn't salesy or over the top about real estate. You actually just connect with people. You build relationships. And so I love reminding myself because I do not naturally have the gift of gab. I've had to learn how to have conversations with people. And so that's why I always will remind everyone just use the Ford. Ford is just a great way for you to roll through the questions in your mind, talking about and asking about their family, their occupation, recreation, and dreams. That's just a really great way for you to ask great questions, get to know them, really listen, and naturally, what comes back is they ask about you. Most of the time, that will be the case. Now, step number 5 is taking it to the next level. The next level for me is something that you could totally do yourself. You could totally bring in someone to help out, but creating your own group. That's what mine is. The business owner sharing strategy started out as just a mastermind. Early on, I just had all of us sit around and we shared our successes and our struggles, and then we all helped each other to find ways to learn and grow together. So if you can give back, you don't have to always be the teacher. That's the number one thing is you can bring in someone. Nowadays, we just bring in local speakers, local leaders. This next month, we have a lady who is a great networker. She's a financial planner, but she's going to be teaching a class on how to network. Well, that's valuable to all business owners. And I've had another lady that came in and she is an HR expert, but she teaches on what's the word? Um, when you are imposter syndrome, that's it. So she taught on imposter syndrome that of course everyone can relate to. So Jenny's not the hero. Jenny's not always the teacher. I'm just the facilitator and the person that brings all of these people together. All right. So this is the truth though. All of this session here was just to give you some tips and ideas of how could you create your own business to business network because the truth is that your network is your net worth. The bigger your network, the bigger your net worth. And I pulled these reminders from some pretty important books. There's this book called Shift and one also called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And this is where Gary Keller says that in business, we need to play both the short game, right now business, but we also need to be playing the long game. And for me, this kind of plan folded in to your short game business plan is building your business for the long term. You're building and adding this value, relationships, connection through local networks and people that over time will grow. We've seen it over and over again. A past client of ours, actually, let me start over. This one girl, one of my very first interviews, we found her online. We double checked. Was a house cleaner. She cleaned houses. And so I interviewed her, super cute. Over time, she ended up cleaning my house. She did a great job. We recommended her to our clients. And then later on, guess what? It was time for her. She got married. It was time for her to buy a house. So of course we got to help her buy a house. And then guess what? They had a baby. And then you know what happens then? It's time for a new house. And we got to help them with that next house. So that wasn't the plan early on. The plan was I was interviewing a young entrepreneur, helping her business and giving back to my community. And in the end, we got to help her also do some real estate along the way. And of course, she was a cheering fan and a referral client for us as well. And this is the number one quote that I would hear it over and over again, and I never realized it was right inside of that red book. But maybe you've heard real estate is a contact sport, and this is your reminder. you got to make some contacts and have some conversations. So if you don't know who to call today and you don't have anybody to follow up with, maybe you could just jot down a few friends that own businesses and get to know a little bit more about their business and how you can help them and support them. And there you go. That is this session. I know it's a super high level overview of ways that you can pour into your community and connect with business to business. And I sure hope that you take some of these ideas and put them into play. I do have a membership group where we go deeper on a lot of these things, where we have paid trainings for other people, free for our Momentum members, where you can plug into all of the systems, all the checklists, hang out each week, and also get a call with me each month. Love for you to inquire about that if you have any interest. And of course, if you need anything, please reach out. I'm right here. Appreciate you guys so much. Talk to you later.